What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Monday Night Football stream. As always, we had a fantastic Sunday slate. It was like over a 6-issue day, which was awesome. And let's do it again. Let's do it again. So we have, of course, Philly and Green Bay using the great outlier for today. So if you guys are interested in giving a try to outlier for free, you can click the link underneath the tweet that's just been posted, or you can, if you're watching on YouTube, click in the description. Give me 1 second to get the promotion out for the boys, and we will dive right into it and talk about all things this game. So I'm going to go right out and say it. I bet the Eagles money line. I waited, which is just not the right thing to do. This was as high as like plus 116 when Jake and I on Wednesday last week bet it. Now we're seeing some 108s. Let's check out the market here, but I am all over the birds here. This is also a game where, as we can see, we'll go into the spread, but let's look at just the money line markets here. Profit X minus 101. Let's see how much liquidity is there at 101, because that's obviously a great price, only $18. Minus 102, 807. So if you're interested in tailing at Profit X, minus 102 is the best price in market. Kalshi 108. Nova has an even money, actually. Let's take a look at this, but I bet the birds. We know what is going on with the Green Bay Packers. They're coming off a massive loss to the Panthers as 13-point favorites at minus 101 is actually $1,600 on liquidity here. So when I was looking at this about 30 minutes ago, there was not this much liquidity. There actually was like $30. Then it disappeared. So I'm guessing somebody snatched it up. But now there is liquidity back. So looking like some money did come in on Green Bay to add some liquidity to the pool here. But I bet the Eagles. And to me, it was honestly not a tough decision to bet the Eagles at all. Not really whatsoever. Why am I lagging here? Give me a sec, lagging. Lag. I can't believe this shit. We're back. Quick lag spike. Sorry, boys. Sorry about that. Quick lag spike, but we're back and we're getting after it. So to me, it's a pretty easy decision to bet the Eagles. For starters, the Packers, this is a situation where even with anticipated like all teams being healthy, because obviously Tucker Kraft went down, hurt that knee. He's out for the rest of the season. That's going to be a massive loss for this team. Speaking of also like the receiving core, which is also banged up for this team. I know Romeo Doubs is going to be Romeo Doubs is playing, but Matthew Golden is not going to be playing. Wicks is a bit banged up. I don't know that the Eagles really, the Packers really have enough firepower to beat the Eagles. And even if you put these teams off full strength, Philly coming off their bye, I think this was a wrong team favored. Now, I know that, of course, this Packers team's going to give it a tough go around. What's poppin', Bradley? Yo. What's going on? I know it's going to be a tough situation defensively, always going against this Green Bay Packers defense, like offensively, a shift for the Eagles, but this is simply to me just a wrong team favorite from the get-go. In my ratings, I had the Birds as a better team, and then yes, you have like home field advantage. Lambeau, though, based on what we've seen this year, not necessarily looking like a great HFA place to play. But look at this line movement here, dating all the way back. Looking at the Packers side here, they were laying 2.5 to open. This is 8 days ago. So as we see 2.5, injury news keeps coming in, and the money keeps coming in as we see this 1.5. And now they're even getting plus 1.5 at certain shops here. That's Eagles minus 1.5. That's an off. Let's see. Green Bay plus 1.5. You can get at a decent price if you're interested in the Packers side. But I'm somebody who has just not quit the Eagles at any point this season. I've even with their little bit of like a down tick and their poor play at certain junctures this year, I still thought it was a great spot here. Bro, appreciate you, AC. Glad you got in there. Shelley Washington, Minus 20.5, bro. I told you can alt that higher. I mean, Detroit gave up. They could have easily won that by like 40 if they wanted to. It was a situation where they didn't have to. It was like, why would we beat them like this badly? There's nothing in the game. Let's get nobody hurt. Jahmyr Gibbs, 2+ touchdowns. That was plus 650. That was nice. Williams, it was always yards, man. The 2 touchdowns was so juicy. He scored that one, but Detroit with the slacking. That was a fun day yesterday. But back to this one. I'm all over the Philadelphia Eagles. I bet them money line minus 102. I got it at there again. That liquidity was up at no, but then it quickly went away. I got the 102. If I would have waited, 20 more minutes, I would have gotten a 101. But it is 1 cent. And if I would have, done my, good betting last week on stream when I called it out and actually bet it at 116, I'd be sitting with a great ticket and could potentially arb or get in. But this is to me birds. Don't have enough success rates or other advanced metrics to really pull into this one. We know how good Philly is. They had again this little bit of a downswing here. They come off beating Dallas but not covering, beating the Chiefs, beating the Rams in that crazy game, and they cover on that last play when they should have lost. Even beat the Buccaneers. And then they get those back-to-back losses to the Giants and Broncos, and then they take care of business against the Vikings and the Giants. There's nothing that I'm seeing that leads me to believe that the Eagles still aren't the best team in the NFC. Now, obviously, the Packers are up there, the Rams are up there, the Seahawks are up there, and the Lions are up there. And maybe I am doing too much of giving people the benefit of the doubt. But I am going with it. Also on Philly tonight, MLF, this is the worst good coach, I swear. I agree. I was actually so low on Matt LaFleur a couple of years ago, honestly, especially in the Aaron Rodgers era. And then when Rodgers moved on, they saw some success. I was like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Changed my opinion. Maybe Matt LaFleur is actually a better coach than I thought he would be. But now I'm going back to my priors. Maybe I had some people, in my ear, some sharp people who I do respect, of course, who were talking about how good MLF is as a coach. I kind of saw some things till I changed my opinion, but I don't know that he's such a great coach, especially when you lose to Carolina, you lose to Cleveland, you don't cover against Dallas, you actually tie that game, and where's the other one? And you don't cover against Cincinnati and Joe Flacco, who I know have been at least impressive to some degree offensively. That is all signs to me of bad coaching. That is a sign of this team is not able to take care of business when they play with their food. That's not what good elite teams do. And you could say the same thing about Philly, but the difference is Philly, they climbed the mountain. They've won a Super Bowl. They've been to another Super Bowl. The Packers are still that fringe team in terms of obviously really good enough to make the playoffs and to make a run. But are they actually, by elite by any means? Probably, but we have to see it more come in battle testing time. And again, the Lambeau HFA, I mean, looking at this year, losing to Carolina outright, barely beating the Bengals, and beating up on the Lions and the Commanders. This game is only a one possession game, but this was really, it's 9 points. It was 2 possession, but this was actually a much bigger blowout. There was a garbage time touchdown there. But no, I like the Philadelphia Eagles here. I bet the Philadelphia Eagles here. So let's ride and let's take a look at some props. So I had a prop that I saw earlier. I have to look at some reports because I was looking at Jahan Dotson just from an EV perspective because his line was 8.5 at all shops, but at MGM, it was as low as 3.5. Let's see if it's moved now. Did it get to 7.5? It hasn't. Let's see. Is it 4.5 now? MGM 4.5, 190. So this has moved back. I actually bet this at 4.5 minus 110 just because of where the market was at the time. Dotson's the kind of guy where you're probably only going to get that one target, one catch all game long. But the fact that this is 8.5 in most other shops as well as now 4.5 minus 190, I wouldn't bet this at this number at this point. But I only bet some Dotson and some Birds money line. But let's dive in. I have my EV filters going for tonight's game on Outlier, and let's see what we find here. We're also going to do some traditional research there. We're going to bet some first touchdowns, and I'm going to take a look also, of course, at the boost that we have for tonight. I actually haven't even loaded up FD or DK yet today. But let's filter in my props for the NFL and see what's showing up from the EV perspective. On the boost side tonight, we have a 30% profit boost on live bets only for me on FanDuel. So nothing pregame live, which is not fun. Let's check what we got DraftKings wise for any pregame pregame boosts that we can use to B plus EV. We hit that 3-leg parlay last night. which was awesome with that Houston Texans comeback, man. What a crazy game. What a crazy way to cash a lay. We get the difficult legs of, Breece Hall to score on that run, Jackson Dart to score, and then the Texans come from behind and pull it off. A 25% boost, but it has to be a 5-leg parlay. That is so frustrating. I can't even begin to mention that they're making me bet 5 legs for a 25% boost and a $5 max, which I guess is good because otherwise I'd be even losing even more EV. But that is a very, very low boost amount, unfortunately, but is what it is. Seeing some EV now to Hurts passing touchdowns under 1.5, minus 145. Let's actually dig into this quickly. Penny's at 177, Bookmaker 179, FanDuel 180 as well. So this is actually good, like very good. Give us that, bro. Please give us better promos. They got killed on that ghost leg and they stopped giving out some fun stuff. But this actually looks really good. Let's confirm its availability here at MGM, and maybe we can, even parlay stuff at MGM here because the rest of the prices are bad. But just curious what this, if it's still there, because this is this is good to market, which is always nice. I know a lot of people don't love laying like a 145, though. I would absolutely recommend laying a 145 if it makes sense. And this is the spot where it does. Quarter Kelly, worst case scenario here, still worth over a unit, 1.34% of your bankroll to stake Quarter Kelly. 177 again at Penny, 179 Bookmaker, 180 at FanDuel. So this is actually definitely a good one. Jalen Hurts under TD passes. Now he's been hot in back-to-back games, and we look at some of the injuries here for Packers. Pretty long list here. Defensive lineman out, a tackle. Matthew Golden, we know he has been rolled out. Kicker, this is the backup now. Nate Hobbs, Tucker Kraft on the IR, unfortunately. Defense overall pretty healthy relatively, but the offense having the struggles here. But Hurts, as we know, can also have some big passing games, can have some negative, terrible passing games. I don't know which version we're going to see. I actually think we probably see the good version of Hurts tonight, but from an EV perspective, this is definitely worth playing. Let's see what else we got, because we have things to MGM. So we have this over. Love completions over 20.5. This also to FanDuel and Bookmaker, minus 105. So this is smaller percent of expected value here. But we can add to the bet slip, and we can see what this odds come out to at MGM if we do find enough legs. Though this is all my EV is showing for today, which makes sense. We're very close to game time. Not expecting a ton, but an under on Hurts over completions, Saquon under, Devonta Smith over 4.5 receptions. Let's look at this one. 122 FanDuel. So a small percentage of EV, 0.05% on worst case scenario. We're building a parlay on DK. This does actually make sense here. But what's MGM if this is what it's at everywhere else? Very, very curious here. What is it at MGM? Do they even have odds up for this? They should. Did I miss it? I probably missed it. No. All right. Well, not much we can do there. So the best EV we're showing right now is on Jalen Hurts under 1.5 passing TDs, which I actually do like. But let's go and look at some props manually. So we have some Jacobs, very slight EV, 145 to FanDuel, but I like the deviate from FanDuel for touchdowns. So, wouldn't bet that. The profit 142, Penny 163 with FanDuel mixing. That's not great, but we know Jacobs is going to score. Its numbers are ridiculous on the ground. With that being said, though, how are the Packers going to move the football and score? No Golden, no Kraft. Golden, of course, deep ball threat, obviously young player. Hasn't had any real breakouts or anything like that so far. So while he's really good, he still has some work to be done. Whereas Tucker Kraft was their entirety of their offense. He was by far their best player offensively outside of Josh Jacobs in their passing game. But I do think that Jacobs is going to have to get the ball and run. His rushing yard total 69.5. That's Fanatics 110. How low can we get? 65.5 here at MGM. This is a situation where I think they're just going to have to rely on Jacobs, right? They're going to have to get some things going. And it's not like the run defense for the Birds is great. We can flip here, rush yards per game, 19th in the NFL. But a team coming off a bye, whenever they do have like a pretty strong deficiency, though it's not like this is like a terrible, terrible number. I would anticipate there being some progression from the side that is struggling. And in this case, being the Eagles on the ground a bit. But this is Jacobs is interesting. I'm going to add this to bet slip here because maybe we combine that with Hurts. We can do a quick little just like price shopping exercise here. If we do, players passing, we have the Hurts under, rushing the other side, Josh Jacobs, rushing yards, 65.5. And I can't even parlay these at MGM. So obviously MGM is a joke of a book for a number of reasons, but that's enough said right there. Jacobs, though, that's definitely like an interesting one. I'll keep that in my back pocket here. Hurts over passing touchdowns here, 140 at FanDuel, 151 at Novig. So the under still is the play from an EV standpoint. So I would definitely recommend betting this under straight. Though we can't parlay those, which is annoying. You would definitely parlay those two kinds of things on different books, though. Shouldn't necessarily be parlaying either way. But Saquon over 0.5. So anytime tutty for Saquon. Penny's at 104. Fano's at 105. Kalshi at 108. So running backs have had a tough time scoring against the Packers, as we know. Looking at some of the stuff here, though, Dowdle did put up a 2-piece in that L. Looking at the rest of this, not really great for running backs. Jordan Love over pass attempts, 105 MGM. Yeah, I think we saw that briefly over here. We saw completions over attempts. Interesting. Do I not have bet types? I have all player props in here. Absolutely. If you're seeing the EV, my calcs aren't seeing it here for Love over pass attempts. Interesting. Very interesting. But what was I saying here? I actually, even though this isn't EV, I kind of do love Saquon. I know it's been tough sledding, but I think the Eagles are like coming back with a vengeance a bit. But what's AJ Brown priced at? Because Arthur Brown is, back in action. He's healthy. There was some scare that he was going to miss some time. Plus 190 at Fanatics, 195 on Novig here for an anytime. Let's see how much liquidity is there. Normally love to deviate from those books, but it's tough. Mike Clay has Love projected at 22 completions for all the fantasy guys out there / obviously the gamblers here. But plus 199.95 for AJ Brown here. Not a ton of liquidity, only 34.85 though. We're seeing 194, which is obviously still a great price, 1,500 liquidity. So could be worth betting it there. If interested, it's really annoying because I would love to like bet parlays using the boost, which is like what we always do. But the unfortunate thing again is the lack of boost. Like I don't want to just be betting parlays to bet parlays. We want to try to maximize some EV legs. And it's a 5+ leg lay. Like that's so annoying. Like part of me wants to like kind of hammer, like just like go crazy with it, do like some 5 like kind of alternate lines and like still get the boost, but it's like it's so dumb. Like it's really just bad betting right there if we do it that way. Let's go back to EV and see if we do a refresh if anything else has popped up since we've been taking a look. And we're going to pivot to some first touchdowns here. But right now we're looking at Birds money line being the biggest position, and that Hurts under 2.5 passing, 1.5 passing touchdowns. Good EV to MGM. So definitely still like that if it's still here. And we'll see in a second. Okay, here's Love passing attempts, 105 MGM. Now we went to even money actually. Outliers. Sometimes the odds are a bit slow, so we got to confirm that. But now I'm seeing that EV AAC that you were calling out before, with actually even money. FanDuel at 120. Let's see if it's up now. I went to 105. Okay. So still like 2.9% EV. So that's like the same amount of EV. Like worst case 299 at 106, but the odds are 105. So we need to calculate at 105. Because that's the difference is it's going to be a little bit lower than the expected value, of course, because the odds are 5 cents off, but that is still showing same range as the Hurts under. So a little bit of mix and match there. If we go back, like, let's see if we can even do that at MGM. No, unfortunately, you cannot. If anybody was wondering, but can't be Can't be doing that. But let's take our first look at the first touchdowns because this isn't going to be groundbreaking stuff. I'm sure we've all seen this many times, but there are situations, of course, where the odds are going to be moving on first touchdown. Sometimes you do get better odds closer to game time. Other times the odds get tanked. So let's see if we could find some of them quicker. Now, this AJB, if that's 11-1, is like everywhere outside of just Fanatics. I love that. 10-1 FanDuel, Caesars, DraftKings. Normally, I do love to like DVig to those books for a first touchdown, but that's already right on the top of my list. That AJB, wide receiver one. I know it's past a rush heavy offense. I know it's a tough matchup, but like AJB being the number one receiver at 10-1, but even Saquon at 650 seems a bit light. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty low. That's like not as bad as you'd think. Like Saquon could be as low as like 4-1. I know that Jalen Hurts is stealing TDs, but FanDuel at 600, Kalshi 669, Novik 609. Call me Mr. Chalk, but like I think this is a great bet. I'm not gonna lie. Let's make sure it's still 650 because I'm actually betting this. It is. I'm betting this. I know it's annoying. I know it's not the ideal first touchdown that we'd love to bet. We unfortunately struck out on first TDs this weekend, but we made up for it and then some with some of the parlays and the other straight touchdowns that we took. So no big deal on that. We're not really expecting to hit the first touchdowns. But with that being said, this is 650 for Quan. I'm not. I bet it. I literally just bet it. I know it's chalk. I know that that's never a fun thing for a first touchdown bet to be betting on the chalk, especially when the matchup isn't ideal. Though with that being said, less than ideal matchups are the best times to be betting certain things if the price is able to dictate that. But as much as I love the AJB at 10-1 for that pricing as well, 650 for Quan. Again, like 475 for Jacobs. Like I know that it's basically a split market here. But 650 for Saquon. Hurts 625, so it's going to be a dealer's choice. And don't get me wrong, I know it makes more sense for Jacobs to be even chalkier. Basically a pick 'em on the spread and the money line. Jacobs, the undeniable lead running back for the Packers. But I don't know, man. Like, look at the touchdown stuff. Like, Jalen Hurts, of course, push, take away those TDs. We'll go to any time this year. Like, cooling off the last 2 weeks, having 5 total on the year. And Saquon, looking at the red zone stuff, we're not going to love it. Red zone rush attempts here, 2, 1, 4, 5. You know that they're going to push the hell out of it whenever they want to. If they get to the 3-yard line, they're going to do that. But Saquon Barkley, red zone rush attempts, only 1 fewer. So the prices do make a bit more sense. AJ Dillon is not playing today. I saw he's out or he's inactive. I don't know if it's injury related, but he will not be playing. So that's no bueno. Just got a text on Eagles, obviously, bro. Birds. Let's go Birds. So let's go. Saquon first touchdown. Jalen Hurts, anytime, even money. Saquon's the 105. So the pricing does again make sense, but I'm bucking it. I'm going Saquon. However, on the what's it called? Packers side. See, Romeo 10-1, that obviously makes sense. Golden not playing, Dillon's not playing. Malik Heath. Like, can we see some Malik magic now with some of this of course, poor options? John Fitzpatrick, Emmanuel Wilson. Curious some of his snap count stuff for Emmanuel Wilson this year. Let's go to just yards, receiving yards out of curiosity, 4.5. He's a running back, of course, but I do want to take a look at some of his numbers. Jaden Reed obviously banged up. Malik Heath down there. Watson is now healthy, which obviously does add a downfield vertical threat, which is always nice. But with that being said, I have again like a thought that this Packers aren't going to have a ton of success, and the loss of Kraft, I think, is really going to be really hard for them to overcome here. Luke Musgrave TD going down the board. Let's look at the odds. I'm assuming there's some EV there, Biz, or if you're just fishing for it, and which I can never hate. I mean, obviously he's about to get a increased role now with no Tucker here. Bird so far this year, for whatever it's worth, very good against tight ends. We could see the tight ends who have scored against him. And so far this season, up into Dallas, only one to get in was Evan Ingram on the Broncos there. 340 price, 350, excuse me, 361 at Novig, 350 FanDuel. From a pricing perspective, I'm honestly not sold / I'm probably going to pass. But if you're going after the upside of the guy who's going to be, filling in, and you feel as if the 350 does not reflect entirely how much more he's going to be playing and how much opportunity he's going to get, zero qualms for me, negative beef, and totally support. But Biz, I mean, if you want me to ride with you out of respect, I will. But I'm personally laying off, even though we see some EV. But again, I like to devig from the Novig. It's only EV to penny. That's full Kelly. That's quarter 0.6%. With Novig being the best at 361. So for the boys, I will, just for fun. But I'm not really loving the Musgrave. Not to be a hater or a Debbie Downer. I hope he scores if you play him. But let's go back to some firsts. Now, I might not even bet a Packer, not because I don't think a Packer can score, but really just because I don't know where down the board there is the value. And we did deploy more units than I ever would on the first touchdown on the Saquon, just because the 650 is lowest odds I normally would realistically take on a first touchdown. Even though we should have just bet Gibbs yesterday, first touchdown, which was a lock. But 2+ touchdowns was better odds than first touchdown, which makes sense. Has to score twice versus scoring the isolated first. But that was a very fun lock in there. What's this John Fitzpatrick character's deal? Anytime is 10-1. Has scored this year for whatever that is worth. What we can do is I'll actually pull up FTN quickly, and let's see how the Packers. I don't know if I can filter it on FTN for who got the routes run and target share with Kraft gone, because unless just drawing a blank here, he left in the middle of that game. They didn't play a full game without him, correct? What state are you based in that has Novigs, DraftKings, and PX? I'm in New York, brother. I'm in NY. Novig and Profit X are actually available in a vast majority of states. I think around 40, if not, plus or minus. Definitely not lower than 35 states, Profit X and Novig, but definitely over in the 40 to 45 range, I would say. They have a legality, but I'm in NY, brother. Let's see. Am I confusing? So Kraft definitely played 30 snaps at a 58. Of course, if Kraft was healthy, he would have gotten more burn. So let me see where the snaps did. So it was fully Musgrave, who I'm sure was getting some snaps pre-Kraft, well, with Kraft, I should say, two tight end sets. Fitzpatrick did then see his usage come up, though he did not receive a target. And Musgrave did see 3 targets, which, whether they were with Kraft still in the game in a 2 tight end set, I don't know. Honestly, not familiar with these filters, not going to lie. But just get an understanding of what the situation was once Kraft went down is definitely very helpful. Opportunities overall. Jacobs, of course, going to dominate. Romeo popping up. Manuel, Watson, Musgrave. Now, I would love to take a look at for a first touchdown, Romeo, because I love Romeo Dobbs. I think he's a dog, but I think the Eagles are going to do a good job of being kind of all over him. And I think that this bye week is probably a good checkpoint for the Birds. I don't think that they went back to the shed there. They're going to come out flat. I think they're going to come out highly motivated. Everybody's talking about the Packers as a team to beat, that they just lost to the Panthers. To me, the NFC still runs through Philly, undeniably. They are the defending Super Bowl champions, and they are the best. Bro, I love Romeo. I do. Wix's 18-1 is a bit intriguing considering the situation. With no Golden. He's just dealing with an injury as well. I know he's not fully healthy. I'm gonna do a quick Twitter on Dontavian Wicks. Because he was just ruled in. He wasn't oh my god, this AI mode on Google, bro. Get that shit out of here. Dontavian Wicks, normal search. He was questionable all night, yeah. but he is suiting up 18 minutes ago, 16 minutes ago. So, uh, you know, Romeo, I mean, Octavius coming back. Obviously, if he's playing, he's healthy. But like, as much as I do think Wicks is like a fun player and like a fun overall like experiment, I guess, for lack of a better word, like it still only has 13 catches on the year and 20 targets in 6 games. Like, only running 41% of the routes. And now without Kraft, like I know obviously they don't play necessarily the same position, but like Kraft does play like overall like weapon receiver, right, as a tight end. They're not lining up in the same spots, of course, but at 18-1, Wicks does honestly give me I think the best overall upside from a pricing perspective only, right? Like I'm only talking about this from the price. Because I do think if price didn't matter, I would just bet Josh Jacobs for the first touchdown. 21-1 on profit and 19-1 at Novig is tough. Cali banning Novig and profit plus all sweepstakes books, Jan 1, because they're legally considered sweepstakes. We're on base. So they toast, dude. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know that's true. I think New York themselves also said that they are reconsidering the sweepstakes model as well. I don't quote me on the exact news, but I know for a fact I read something that it's in limbo. Mr. L, there's actually news today that Profit X has filed for approval by the CFTC to become a legally regulated licensed prediction market. So hopefully in your case, that all happens and is resolved sooner than later. So you get Profit X as well. I would have to assume that Novig probably tries to follow suit in the near future. We know that DraftKings has announced their, DraftKings predict as well. I think I saw MGM was trying to get involved. So I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. It's, so annoying that they can't get some things regulated. But with that being said, hopefully Profit X does come over to Cali shortly. And sweepstakes stuff, I think New York might also be on that short list of people who get screwed as well. Yeah, dude, like quite literally today, opened up LinkedIn this morning and saw that PR announcement from them. So, good luck to the Profit X team. Nothing but love to the PX team, and hope they can get that going for the people who want to bet elsewhere. Back to the matter at hand here. I do think that Wicks is intriguing, but let's see if we could find a better price at Romeo, because I don't love how the prediction markets or the exchanges have better prices on Wicks than some of the traditional books. But Romeo 10-1 at DK. Where's FanDuel? FanDuel at 9-1. So only a plus 100 different discrepancy there in odds, which isn't the isn't a massive amount, isn't like a game changing amount to me. I think I'm going to go Wicks for the first, though. Again, I think it's going to be Saquon, like nuts on the table, Saquon. Even though, again, that's not really a massive sell at plus 650 for a first TUD. Haven't looked at Watson at all. Deep downfield, I want Watson to be good so far this season in 2 games, 8 targets in 2 games, 6 catches. So they're definitely getting him involved. The pricing is pricing him accordingly. 14-1 at DK. The 15-1 Fanatics, if you have a Fanatics there. 13-1 at FanDuel. Let's see kind of what's going on here. His receiving yards a bit of EV to what is this book? I've seen them before, but I'm not familiar. 39.5. That's minus 136. So I don't love that. Let's see. That's like the base price. Interesting. So the market's probably moving as we're speaking, which they always are. But he has gone over in both games since returning. I think I'm going back on it. I think I'm going with Christian Watson. Like he is like their better receiver. And there is a world where he is their WR1, especially with no Tucker Kraft. Anytime is 280. I wish there was a better price. I'm not going to lie. But for a first, like I just hit how FanDuel is the best price because FanDuel is the sharpest there. I love to devig from them in these kind of situations, but I'm actually, if Romeo scores, not Romeo. If Romeo or Wicks score, I will be, I guess, a bit annoyed for, going back and forth. But pricing wise, I am actually locking in. Where the hell did he go? Christian Watson. I'm blind. There he is. I'm locking in for first for the Packers side. He is getting those targets. I mean, let's confirm this 14-1 is there, as we can see in 2 seconds. 14-1, and again, we go back to. I saw it was there. I didn't switch my screen, but I'm going to just look at this, confirm that that FanDuel is worse, because yes, that can all change in a second, but I would like to, stick true to the process. And for these first tutties, won't not bet at FanDuel on first touchdowns, of course. We'll definitely bet it, but like when there are situations where the price is better at DK than the exchanges, prediction markets, FanDuel, and Circa, those to me are like the perfect lining of these. Of course, we're talking first touchdowns, so there's a lot of variability, and the general EV stuff is going to be tough to see. But that's normally the process overall for first touchdowns. Like, I'm also looking at situation and like who I think is dominating, but to me, it's always for everything going to be price. But yes, Watson's 13-1 at FD, so I'm locking him in at DK 14-1. So far, boys, we have bet the Eagles money line, Saquon first touchdown, and Christian Watson first touchdown. I put 0.1 units on Watson and 0.3 on Saquon. So if Saquon hits or Watson hit, we're still sitting pretty. If neither of them hit, not losing sleep out over that, of course. I did bet the Jahan Dotson, but I'm actually mad at myself for betting that. Let's go to FTN quickly, because I was just going at price, which again, I'm always going to go for price, but he just gets no love. If I try to buy, like, they're probably going to be looking for, AJB, all the trade rumors, all the nonsense. Season to date, route percentage, obviously some injuries here, some missed time, but you got Devonta Smith and AJ Brown. Saquon, running a good amount of routes, unsurprisingly. I mean, Dots still runs 76% of the routes, man. That's a lot of routes. Only 14 freaking targets on those in 8 games. We only have over 4.5 yards. So, hopefully he does catch one for a 5-piece and not behind the line of scrimmage, or, get tackled right away there. What's his average depth of target? It's 17.4%. So obviously high, and obviously would get the job done, but that is contingent on him actually catching the football if it is thrown to him deep down the field. Not going to track that for a stream play because of, I bet it at a much better price that's available now. If it does come back in range, we'll call it. But let's refresh the EV here and see what we got. It's really birds and 2 first touchdowns. We could cook a 5-man lay for DraftKings's 5-leg SGP freaking promo, but like, come on here. 5 legs, $5 max bet for 5 legs. I'd rather talk about prediction markets, but okay. Saquon rush attempt under 17.5 plus 105. This is just popping up here. FanDuel under is 102. Penny's 116. BOL even at 114. Quarter Kelly, worst case method, 0.32% for a Kelly. I don't think that the Eagles just jam it down their throats, or do they? I think on the other side, like, I love Jacobs rushing stuff. But let's see, because this is telling me that this is pretty solid expected value there. Only like 0.9%, so it's not like a massive EV, but it is available at MGM. Can't knock that. I'm curious though where they're getting this 5.17% from, because that's just the penny. See, this is showing me under 17.5, right? Like, so yeah, we're talking about under 17.5, but at FanDuel it's minus 102. So really not as massive as it seems from an expected value standpoint, though. Definitely some EV there. This Hurts is still there. This Love completions showing back to even money. This was 105. Let's see if it did move here. 22.5. Back to even odds over, minus 105. Over here at MGM. No, it is minus 105. Okay, so just a little bit laggy on the odds here, showcasing. Jacobs receptions under plus 135. AJ Brown receptions under. Jordan Love rushing yards under. These are 3 plays that honestly, like, again, market rules all, but like the ball knower in me would not expect these. I think Jacobs has to get, and with the worst case scenario, this actually isn't EV. So I'm glad, because to me, like, you have to funnel Jacobs if you're the Packers for any chance to win this game. It's going to have to be Josh Jacobs funnel. And honestly, with that in mind, because we have the boost, I think we might as well use it. We'll try to find some legs that we, at least like to a degree. But let's go back here. Like AJB, 4.5 receptions. We know obviously he doesn't get peppered like that, though he's a freaking king. Not like an alternate kind of reception kind of guy. Other hand, Devonta Smith, still a dog, still some kind of boomer bust from Tay, but gotta love some Devonta Smith, man. He's so damn good. Jacobs rushing, that disappeared. I just want to get, actually, let's just do this. Let's get DraftKings open and we can build some stuff here based on what it's at. We're using their boost and there's not really much shopping to do, unfortunately. No, just log this bad boy in. No, I'm just playing. So we do like a mix of like ball knowledge here with some like EV that we'll get when we end up boosting. With that being said, like, I think Saquon is definitely scoring a touchdown. I know that's as square as it gets. But we don't have to die on that hill. See, go back to the EV actually. See what we're showing expected value for. There'll be some correlation with Hurts under pass TDs in that. Barkley rush attempts under at FanDuel, receptions for Jacobs under. I actually disagree with that a lot. I actually think Jacobs, again, has to get peppered here. So let's do this. Josh Jacobs. Rush shorts first Q. How low can they give us? See, like, that's terrible. This is a curiosity right now here. Yeah, no, not gonna happen there. Bro, I think it's solid. The thing about Saquon, and I just get screwed on it all the time because I'm always like, this is when Saquon is finally going to score. But then what happens? He gets tackled at the 2-yard line and they run 2 tush pushes. So I'm always on the business end of the tush push with the Jalen Hurts scoring. I saw some EVs actually is under, rushing before, but let's see what we go here. So Jacobs 60 plus. We'll go and see what the EV is on that. We're getting into build mode here. Can definitely bet some unders here. I wouldn't bet the Saquon straight at that. I think if you're doing it for a lay for fun in this kind of situation, that it's worth it. But EV wise for the plus 105, it's probably just not it. Let's see what the best odds are for 60 plus. It is DK 157. So back to here. I'm gonna build it on my phone so I can bet it while we're doing. So sorry for the multitask here. We're gonna do rushing props. We're gonna do Jacob 60 plus 157. We're gonna need some touchdowns to counteract this and get some plus chicken going. But I like some Jacobs. They're gonna have to feature him like that. Hurts, the underpass attempts with the EV is still attractive, and I do think it does make sense. The 140 at FanDuel for the over, of course, very high. This 145. DK 156 to FanDuel's 180. So we're going to add that, though those aren't correlated, so this is good. But let's add this Jalen Hurts under passing TDs. No hate to Jalen Hurts. I hope he wins this a football game because this bet doesn't matter as long as the Eagles win, which, of course, might not happen. But give me the Eagles money line. I can't parlay these. I don't understand. What the hell do you mean I can't parlay these? SGP Builder, because they have the different modes, man. This is why. Like, I know we bet a lot of fun parlays on stream, but they're always one time, 2 legs or whatever. The fact that I can't parlay Jalen Hurts under 2.5 passing touchdowns OU. There's only an O, man. Dude, why do we even try? Like, why? I can't parlay two like high liquidity, relatively efficient based on the books props at DK, which is of course, obviously in itself has a bunch of problems as a sports book itself in terms of, limiting and et cetera, et cetera. But the fact that you can't SGP those things, it even has this freaking SGP logo right here. That's mind-boggling, man. I hate to say it. I don't know why I'm shocked because I should not be shocked. As I'm sure this is. I honestly remember on a stream for a primetime game at some point this season, couldn't be longer than 3-4 weeks ago, seeing the same nonsense. And I was going to do them a favor, DK a favor, by fucking taking a $5 parlay anyway with their boost, just, obviously for some content for the boys, have a little bit of a sweat going. But when we actually find two legs that are worth combining, we can't even do that. That is nuts, man. That's unfortunately nuts. Like, they want me to just go like this and go like, oh, this is what they want me to do. And press okay. Yeah, that's what they want. Now the shit's gonna hit. Nah, I'm just kidding. But that's actually what they want. It's honestly pretty sick when you think about it, like in a bad way, not sick as in an epic way, but like, is that not fucked up? Can't parlay an under passing touchdown SGP. It's not like we're trying to parlay again. If it's like a pass attempts and a this and a that, I take it. But no, that's no fun. Like that's no bueno. But we'll move on. We can't parlay the Hurts under, so we're gonna have to get creative. I do still stand by the Jacob 60 plus. It's a good leg to the market, so we'll keep building off of that. We just won't have the Hurts passing TD. Saquon touchdown would be interesting. I'm curious on Musgrave because I do think that there is definitely he's going to be getting the football, like definitely a lot more than anticipated with the injury here. 3.5 receptions, but 28.5 yard line. So the line is pretty high. Has dropped as well. 28.5 here at DK. FanDuel with the 29.5, but that's plus money. Look at 27.5. Is receptions the move? That's a lot. 4 receptions for a guy. Like, if you're getting 4 receptions for 30 yards, don't get me wrong. There's definitely times to bet the receptions over the, receiving yards and vice versa. 3 against Carolina. Carolina, one of the worst defenses against TEs, where the Birds have been actually one of the better ones against TEs this year. So Musgrave is probably not it. I kind of am down to just go square here, like AJB. Let's just go back to DK even. Give me some AJB stuff. I want to always look at the market too, because while we are like taking some we're forcing a lay, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to not call it what it is, but still like the legs to be solid in the first place. FT at 56.5, which is annoying. At 40 plus, DK is slightly better price, but like, why are we doing all these alternates? This is mad annoying, but we're trying to get the 5 legs because of the freaking stupid promo. Which we don't have to donate DraftKings $5 tonight, but now I want to hit it. Now I really want to hit it. Jacob 60 plus. But 60 plus though, because maybe we're going the wrong direction. We're going to alt the other way, because I do think that, let's see, 60 plus at DK is minus 102 to 102 plus 102 at FanDuel. So it's really not as if it's like really so good. Let's just keep digging here. Let's keep digging. Birds money line. Hopefully we get a first touchdown. That's good. Am I crazy for possibly middling the parlay put out last week with Green Bay plus 3.5 on Kalshi? If you're talking about the 5-legger, bro, that's only down to Birds money line. Are you crazy? Like, no, definitely not crazy. Because like, fuck it. It was a parlay. I mean, assuming you bet just for whole number's sake, it was like 20 to win 300. I mean, I don't know what you risked on it. Like, Depends on honestly how much like the payout versus the risk factor is there, because you can definitely find situations live probably to maximize your EV. Um, I don't know, Ace. I hate to be this guy and not have like a straight answer for you. Like, I don't think there is like a right answer blanket. Um, but you're definitely not crazy for trying to hit a 3.5 point middle, a plus 3.5. With that being said, you're definitely going to be paying juice on the 3.5 to make sure that it makes sense. I would just honestly use PTO or another tool that has a middle calculator. Google that up and see. Speaking of middles, we could take a look at some middles, but we'll never call you crazy for trying to maximize. Just want to make sure you do end up making the right bet realistically. Um, if you are to get a little bit crazy. So Google a middle calculator, do some digging in some prices. You'll definitely be able to get, I think, a good price at some point live to maybe I wouldn't no matter what the question is, do I want to risk more? No, I understand. I get the concept here. You're winning on, Birds money line, or you win with Packers plus 3.5 because they either win outright or they cover, and you're getting profit regardless because of that. It definitely makes sense. I think it honestly comes down to like your bankroll and your appetite. Like if you're okay with losing, say, $10 to win the 300 versus wanting to capitalize on both. It's a personal question. Like the EV, I think would say probably to ride because if you can hit all like the scenarios, brother. I just there probably is like a more right than wrong answer. I just don't necessarily have it for you. End of the day, though, I will say, I hope you make money tonight on that, and I'm glad you ended up tailing because that was a nice giveaway slip, and I'm glad that you did end up tailing and are in a nice position here. Jacob 60 plus. This is bouncing around 152. I don't hate that. Only going for some alternate lines like this again because we are stuck using a shitty boost tonight. Saquon at 105. Honestly, I'm adding that. I think Saquon's going to score. Oh my god, I accidentally just placed Jacob's 60 plus rush shorts for $4. So I accidentally clicked 4. All right, so I guess I'm round 4 is on Jacob 60 plus. I'm taking the middling. Bro, it's so much fun. Like the possibility of hitting both bets or just losing juice or a situation like this where you're guaranteeing yourself the profit. Yeah, I love that. That's hilarious, dog. I just want you to profit tonight, dude. If it makes you more fun to do the middle there, all power to it. If you happen to do it live and you hold out now, I think you might be able to find a spot as well. Best case scenario, Saquon scores that first tutty. You get like a 6.5 at a 110. You middle that. Eagles win by 4. That's the script. That's what we need here for that. As far as touchdowns go, I don't want to have a ton. Like I can't believe I'm about to click this passing touchdowns over under here. It's not letting me SGP it. Nuts. Still blows my mind here. I'm actually going to add some rush yards as well. I'm going to go with this is like a more of a gut feel, but I'm adding Jordan Love. I think it's a situation where the Birds pass rush isn't really going to be that crazy to get to them, but I think it is a spot where it's like, big game on the line. You're going to have your quarterback put on. Jordan Love doesn't love to run, but can, no pun intended on that as well. Like, let's look at his rushing stuff. Like, he is a talented, athletic guy. 10.5 here. He's gotten there a few times this year, of course, a few times with absolute bust. But again, I think when it comes to this one, it's going to be a spot where he's like, I'm going to say forced to run because that's definitely not the right word, but a spot where it's a big game. And if you want to run, if you want to, compete with the best, especially with some lack of weapons here, it would be a quick EV check to see if there's anything popping up right here worth throwing in, but not seeing anything from DK, unfortunately. I'm not fading Tay or Devonta Smith or AJ Brown, honestly. Not a fan of either of those. This already dropped to $4.99 in the slip, which is just annoying. So something's moving here. So let's round this out. I have it on my phone so I can lock in with the boost. We need 2 more legs, which is annoying as hell. Receiving props. I mean, because we have the Saquon, we're gonna be at plus what am I saying? We're going to be at over 10-1, which I love to do for parlays because I'm a degen for no other reason than that. AJB 50 plus. That even gets us a 50-1 there. I'm honestly interested in that. I'm throwing that in. I think AJB comes back with a vengeance. 10-1, and then we need one more leg. Do we just go dumb and do Philly money line? We're already on it and just go in that direction here. Here's the 2,300. $5 max bet, and with the boost, that'll bring us to, I can't believe I fat finger that Jacobs 16 plus for $4. What are you gonna do? 2,300 with the 25% boost, 2,875 for something I think is like honestly like realistic, definitely in the realm of possibility. I bet it. That's the lay for tonight. Saquon, TD, love over 11.5 rushing yards, HAB 50 plus. Saquon, anytime, birds, ML. Again, not something we would normally ever really play. I let DraftKings bone me by making me bet their stupid 5-leg promo. What are you gonna do? It's $5. Now I have again the extra 4 is on AJB. I mean on Josh Jacobs. But I'm in. All right, so first touchdowns. Christian Watson for the pack. Saquon for the Birds, plus 650. Again, I think that's a really solid price for it. Jalen Hurts is down to 550. Birds money line minus 102 at no big. That's where we got in. That was the best price there. We'll see how that line goes. But as we already saw a few times, this was Packers minus 2.5. Yes, I bought pretty close to the bottom, which I'm not proud of. On stream on Wednesday, I said Eagles money line plus 116. I didn't pull trigger because I'm soft. And what do I know? I watched it go down all week. Still didn't get into an entry point, which is, just bad business by me. But on stream on last Wednesday, boys, listen up here. Jake and I, who I stream my Best Bet show with, we did a parlay for a giveaway. I owe Jake $20 from a side bet we made. He said for this $20 side bet, what you should do is put it on a parlay of our best bets, and we'll do a giveaway on stream Wednesday if it hits. That parlay is down to Birds money line. It was Bears money line, Ravens money line, Patriots Buccaneers over 48.5, Lions minus 7.5, and now Birds money line. 20 to win 330. We're giving away $100, $50 to 2 people, but you have to be on stream Wednesday to claim your prize. That's it. So if you guys are marking your calendar, 7:30 Eastern on Wednesday, we'll be doing a drawing. If the Birds hit, if they don't hit, we'll run it back again for next week and we'll do another giveaway. But that is the situation. Of course, Outlier will be the tool of choice for the stream. But we're relying on Birds money line. So Birds at plus 116 I have, Birds minus 101. Saquon touchdown, first touchdown, Christian Watson first touchdown. I did bet a Dotson over 4.5 receptions, which I honestly don't love, but the market moved too much to give out. But again, full transparency. And we bet this bit of a donation parlay because I'm a sucker for this, but I bet Josh Jacobs 60 plus rushing yards, Philly money line, AJ Brown 50 plus receiving yards, Jordan Love over 11.5 rushing yards, Saquon anytime TD. So definitely they gave me a $5 max bet on a freaking, had to be a, what's it called? A 5-legger. So shame on me, I guess, realistically, for falling suit there. But there's nothing else I want to talk about here in terms of this game. Feel strongly about what we have. You can do one more quick EV. Do a game line EV check. We actually haven't done this yet today to see if the EV has, there's any like third quarters or anything like that that's popped up. What am I looking for? Gate range, next 24 hours. So that's today. No results, which is unsurprising, being the game is in 15 minutes. So completely unsurprising. There are no results for this. one more quick look at EV. We're definitely going to be doing some more NBA content coming soon. I built out my NBA props filter on Outlier, going to build it on PTO as well, just to start betting it. I did bet it a bit. I had like a 3-day stretch where I was grinding, but then I just don't love the game like that. But I love making good bets that are profitable and win in the long run. So this love under actually showing EV, Saquon over here at no vig and profit. Jalen Hurts anytime 102 also. So Emmanuel Wilson rushing, I'll quickly actually look into this because I think that they have to hammer Jacobs, but more so I think the point is more they have to run the football. And Wilson will be a part of that mix. I mean, only 5.1 attempts a game to get 20 plus yards, 21 exactly at 106 at profit. What's some other numbers out there? 19 and a half. This could have been an ad to the lay, realistically. Cooked that, excuse me, against Pittsburgh. Carolina. I don't know. Steam is still a bit high, realistically, but there is a tad bit of EV there. So with that being said, that's why it's worth it. This Hurts is still showing. I think this is still worth it as a straight bet. Would have loved to parlay that. Jacobs at 135, but we're talking about no vig. Profit X though, 245 here. I guess this one moved because the EV is not showing, as we know, when bets with good expected value pop up. Sometimes or oftentimes they're not there for too long. So I think we're gonna call it, boys. We're gonna call it. It's been an hour. I'm off tomorrow from streaming, but of course I'll make some YouTube content. I'll have some Twitter content around as well. I'll see you boys on Wednesday again, 7:30 Eastern. If this Eagles money line hits, Jake and I are doing a $100 giveaway, $50 to 2 people. All you have to do is like his tweet that is up at Money Badger Bets, and you're entered. You have to be on stream to claim. So we're gonna run a randomizer. We're gonna get our first 2 names. We're gonna say, "Hey, at Go Bet Smart, you won." You got to say, "Yo, that's me." We'll DM. We'll pay you out. If after 2 minutes at Go Bet Smart, nothing, on to the next, and so on until we get 2 people who are in and paid. If you're on YouTube and you're always on stream, but you don't have an X account, hit me up if you hit and stream at 7:30. Like right in the chat ASAP. So we'll add you to that randomizer list as well. Because if you're not on X, I don't want you to get excluded from the randomizer. So shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys for being on stream with me as always. I'll see you all on stream Wednesday, and have a great rest of your night. Go Birds, and let's hit a fun one.